What's up, bosses? January 2021 is in the books, and now we're moving on to February. We've got a lot to talk about, like a proposed update to the FMCSA's vision standards, some advice to better protect your rig during winter weather, our third and final broker transparency report, and our February maintenance minute. So, let's get rolling. Like I mentioned earlier, the FMCSA has proposed changing the vision standard for drivers. Basically, it would update the current standard, which took effect in 1971. Yeah, it's been around 50 years already. That says a person is physically qualified to drive a commercial vehicle if they have at least 20/40 vision in each eye without corrective lenses, or 20/40 or better with corrective lenses, and a field of vision of 70 degrees in each eye. They also have to be able to tell the traffic light signal colors of red, green, and amber. Now, if you don't meet those requirements, right now you can apply for an exemption. But with the proposed change, a driver wouldn't need to apply for an exemption, but would instead just need to submit an examination and have the results be sent to a medical examiner who then makes a decision. They could either disqualify the driver or give them a 12-month medical card that would let them stay behind the wheel. Now, the agency is taking public comment through March 15th, so head over to the FMCSA website to let them know what you think. Now, Isela, talk to us about this winter weather.
The state of Pennsylvania has announced travel restrictions for tractor trailers and other commercial vehicles. That also includes the state of New York and New Jersey. With many drivers driving in those conditions, you start to come across some issues. For instance, our good friend Tony Justice posted on his Facebook a picture of the front of his truck stating, "Froze up, hot outside, temp at 28 degrees. And we know that just can bring more issues, not only to those weather conditions, but putting you behind schedule. It can also be bad for your truck. So we hit up our girl Kyla of Wilkins, Oklahoma Truck Supply to see if she had some tips.
Winter fronts are typically used in extremely cold temperatures. They help limit the airflow through the radiator, which keeps the water temp up, allowing the motor to run more efficiently, thus keeping the cab warmer and driver more comfortable. Trucks, especially those with air-to-air, still need air to flow through the radiator. This is why we offer winter fronts with a zipper. Drivers can zip up or unzip as much as they need, allowing the correct amount of air to flow through. This helps to keep the truck running smoother. They're also available with no zipper, as well as with a mesh center. We keep these in stock for most trucks, starting at around $150. We can also have them custom made. They're available in a wide variety of colors. Please give us a call anytime at 800-299-5308 to order yours. Also, don't forget to like us on Facebook at Wilkins Truck Chrome and check us out online at wilkinstruckchrome.com.
Kyla, thank you for that info. And for our drivers who are driving in this crazy weather, make sure you drive safe. And as an added bonus, our friends over at TBS is giving you access to a free ebook, Winterizing Your Rig. So just make sure that you click the link in the description to download. I think we also need to get our friend Tony a winter front. Carlin, what do you have?
If you've been keeping up with our show, you've noticed our regulations correspondence report on broker transparency. This has been an exhaustive look at broker tactics, motives, and what's happening to help make experiences better with them. Well, now we're wrapping up the report, at least for now, so let's head over to Brad Kuhn for more.
So what is happening right now in D.C. on this issue? What started that?
So what started it, well, I mean, it goes back decades. What really, this year, though, what really brought a lot of attention to it was the coronavirus. Basically, freight rates fell off a cliff. A lot of truckers went to D.C. to protest for weeks, or even in some cases, I think, over a month. So that added more fuel to the fire, if you will. It really brought this issue to the forefront. So it's something we've wanted to address. That's where it comes from. What's going on right now? The comment period is still open, so people can still file comments. We certainly hope they do. There's a fair amount of comments filed already. We've sent our comments out to our members. They can use that as a base. They can pull whatever they want from it and file their own. But give the personal examples. That's really what FMCSA is looking for. And there's, other than that, on this issue, there's really not anything else going on. Once the comment period closes, FMCSA will have to go through all those comments and then consider next steps in the regulatory process.
Okay. And let's also, in fairness, talk about the role that drivers play in the race to the bottom sometimes.
That's a great point. One of the things we always say is don't haul cheap freight. I think some carriers and some drivers maybe, in some cases are their own worst enemy, where they're hauling loads for brokers that have been double brokered, or brokers are offering less than what it costs to cover the costs for the carrier. So people are hauling freight out there and actually losing money, and that does nothing but help brokers and sort of encourage them to offer low rates. I think if drivers and carriers would would stick up for themselves a little more and say, hey, we're not going to haul cheap freight. Now, I know that's easier said than done, right? I'm sitting in front of a computer saying this. So it's much easier for me to say it than it is for carriers and drivers to actually live it. But that's still something we preach all the time. We have a Truck to Success class. We do a couple times a year. That's one of the things we preach in there. Do not haul cheap freight. So to drivers, that's our message.
So let's say the A scenario happens and FMCSA passes meaningful broker reform and transparency, and it becomes a law of the land. Who's going to enforce that, and how can you make it stick?
The agency does have authority to issue civil penalties for violations of regulations. They can suspend brokers' operating authority. So that's the kind of thing that they would have to do. Right. What we wouldn't want necessarily is a situation where we get some new some changes to the existing regulations go into effect, and it requires X, Y, and Z. We wouldn't want to go through all of that only for the agency to tell us, well, we have no way to enforce it. But if they want to enforce it, we tend to think that they could. And more often than not, if they made an example out of one of these, one of the brokers that is, one of the brokers that's refusing to comply with the regulations, perhaps less people would perhaps less brokers would engage in that kind of stuff. And we see that in other issues. It's a small world. People talk. If new rules went into effect and a broker violated those new rules and the FMCSA took appropriate enforcement action, other brokers would hear about that and again, probably be less likely to engage in the noncompliance.
For the Truckbot Show, I'm Brad Kuhn. I'll see you down the road.
Thanks, Brad. If you missed part 1 and part 2, you can check them out on our YouTube channel under the news playlist. Now, Isela, tell us about Tesla putting the brakes on a project, even though they've made some promises to a lot of companies.
The production of Tesla's upcoming electric semi-truck has been put on hold until the company can successfully produce its own batteries. The Tesla semi-truck was expected to be released in 2017, but it has been pushed back several times from 2019, 2020, and now to sometime mid-year of 2021. Walmart, Pepsi, and Anheuser-Busch have already ordered the electric semi-trucks. But Musk stated that if you're not involved in manufacturing, it's really hard to appreciate just how hard it is to scale production. It's the hardest thing in the world. The battery cells were unveiled last September of 2020, but the company is still working on the large lithium-ion cells that will act as the power source of their electric semi-trucks. As for now, we will have to wait a little bit longer before the semi-trucks make their official appearance as working rigs. Carlin?
Guys, have you heard of CoOp? It's a renting platform created by Ryder System Incorporated with the goal of connecting fleet owners with cargo vans, box trucks, semis, and trailers that are just sitting idle. It's a nice way to keep from having to buy new equipment to meet the demand of an ever-changing market. Sounds nice, right? Well, it's not available everywhere just yet, but it has seen a lot of expansion since starting in 2018, adding California, Tennessee, and North Carolina to its growing list of available locations last month. It's also expanded the option to purchase insurance through the platform for 34 states, so renters won't have to have their own insurance on the equipment. But what do you guys think about this option? Would you rent your rigs or would you prefer owning them? Let us know in the comments below. Now, Isela, what else do we have for them?
We've all heard the expression of keeping it clean. Here's David with the 411 to tell us why it's even more important than you think in this month's Maintenance Minute.
Hello, David, Rush Truck Center, Oklahoma City, Maintenance in a Minute. Today we're going to talk about the cleanliness of your vehicle, both inside and out. It's very important that you keep under the hood of your truck clean. And I think you know what I'm talking about. All that dirt, oil, residual, it deteriorates your hoses, everything else under there. So we're going to look for our oil leaks, we're going to look for our coolant leaks, and we're going to look for DEF leaks. These are things that keep our vehicle moving on the highways or the roadways like they're supposed to be. It's very important that when we bring a vehicle in, we're not fighting over the oil, the dirt, all that kind of stuff. A lot of times we have to take them back there, steam clean them. That's an added cost. These are things you want to remember, just like the cleanliness inside of your truck. There's nothing worse than hopping in a truck and it being filthy. That could determine how much time that technician is going to want to spend in the cab of your truck. Not to mention the fact that you're riding around in it every day. Cleanliness, as they say, is next to godliness. Those are things we want to remember. It helps your truck stay fit. David, Rush Truck Center, maintenance in a minute.
Thanks, David. And Trooper tell us that if you don't have pride in your ride, then you're more likely to be pulled over. Make sure you wash them. Carlin?
Last October, we had the pleasure of heading to the Busted Knuckle Truck Show that happens right here in our home state of Oklahoma. It's a great show with a ton of old school trucks and the awesome owners who take a lot of pride in them. In fact, we featured one, Sean Gibson, several times because the man had not one, not two, but 4 different trucks at the show. Check out the last one. It's just as nice as his others. Hey, what's up, everyone? Carlin here with the Truckbot Show. We are in Tonkawa, Oklahoma, which right now is pretty much the truck capital of the world because we are in the Busted Knuckle Truck Show. And we're here with Sean Gibson, a Broken Bow, Oklahoma native. And you were showing us this awesome, you got 4 trucks at the show this weekend. So tell us about this last one. You said it was the baby?
Yes, sir. This one right here is I've had more hands-on on this truck right here than anybody. This truck right here was from down to bare frame. I don't know, I put my heart and soul in building this one. It ain't like the rest of them I've ever done. I would just about sell anything before I got rid of this one. This truck right here was a factory 280 wheelbase truck, born in its time. The only thing we changed was the suspension. We went to a low leaf instead of the air leaf, but it's all original. It's probably one of the cleanest 359s around that I've ever been affiliated with.
Well, let's see some of this interior
Yes,
stuff.
sir.
I mean, obviously you babied it, so we want to see what you've done.
Yes, sir. It's all original other than the toggle switch extensions. We put it back like she was born new with.
And now let's check under the hood.
Yes, sir. We'll show you under the hood of this. Like I said, this truck right here was a frame-off restoration. I actually had this hood here in a crate that I'd stuck back several years ago because you can't buy a complete hood no more.
Right.
That is actually a brand new hood, which is very rare. The engine, we took that out and I sent it to Caterpillar and had it redone. We got a brand new Eaton transmission, rear ends, this truck's new, drive lines. There ain't nothing that ain't new about this truck right here.
Very nice. Well, you know, it may all be brand new, but it's still got that classic look, and
Yes, sir.
that you can tell that's what you were going for, and you knocked it out of the park. I can see why it's your baby.
Yes, sir. I'm fond of this one, very fond of it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all your time. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one. You know, it was really great catching up with Sean Gibson and seeing those, you know, show trucks. He's got an affection for those old rides, and the pride that he takes in restoring them is pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, pretty cool trucks. And well, for next week, we're going to have our guys, Matt and Joey, Bob Perry, and steering your way to Good Health Challenge. Also, stay tuned because we're going to be having our Valentine's Day Stack Hack.
That's right, and don't forget we have announced the winner, I should say, of our January Boss Box. So be sure to check that out so you can see if it's you. And then, in order to be qualified to enter our February Boss Box giveaway, be sure to join our Boss Nation Facebook group. That's where you'll see the video so you can see how you can win our February Boss Box. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about the Truckbot Show because, of course, we can't keep doing this without your guys' support. Because at the end of the day, why do we do this, Isela?
Because you're the boss.